This is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, where each week this brother-sister duo gets together to discuss the box office, our latest film and TV scoops, our latest movie or show review, and what we're getting into next. We're your host,
Cheryl
and Jay.
Okay, so this weekend we didn't do Glicky because it's them two long movies, so we separated them. So this weekend is our Wicked review, and I'm on deck for trivia. Is your mind right? Is it ready to be quizzed?
Yes, my mind is ready.
Okay, so before Don Cheadle was the director of Wicked, there was another director by the name of Stephen Daldry. And if that doesn't sound familiar to you like it did not to me, Daldry.
Okay.
Daldry.
Oh, I was thinking of somebody else. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, you know, jack up last names. He was the director of Billy Elliot and The Crown. So I know you watched The Crown, right? Just a little bit of it.
No.
Oh, dang.
Mom watched The Crown.
Okay. That was a Downton Abbey that you watched.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got my British shows mixed up. Anywho, he was going to direct Wicked back in 2020. So 2020. And he had another actress in mind to play Alphaba. You have to guess who this actress is. And I'm going to give you some hints. She is also a singer. She's also quite popular. And she has a connection to Beyonce. There you go. That's it. That's all you got.
Miley Cyrus?
No. But that would have been interesting.
Okay, I'm thinking of young white actresses who have connections to Beyonce.
You're
context for our listeners.
I was gonna say she wasn't black.
If people were like, why Miley? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Has a connection to Beyonce.
Mm-hmm.
Taylor Swift?
No.
I'm thinking of white singers who have written songs for Beyonce.
Okay.
Am I in the right park?
Okay, sure. Yes.
Ariana has. Miley Cyrus has.
Okay.
Taylor Swift, I think. No, has she? No, has she written? Or no,
absolutely not. But I'm gonna let you slide with that and not cut your head off.
I mean, she employs writers from all over the place. Katy Perry?
Nope.
She's a singer.
She is a singer. You naming literally everybody but her, which is funny.
Is as popular as the ones that I named?
Yes.
Lady Gaga?
Yeah. She was
as
Alphaba.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I feel like she would have played a better Galinda, but sure.
She could have had the zaniness.
Yes.
I agree. I feel like she could have done...
Either.
Well, no. Now that I've seen her Harley Quinn, I agree with you. She would have been a better Glinda.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. The other person that was rumored to do the Furio, is that how you said that character's name?
Fierro.
Mm-hmm. Shawn Mendes was in talks, apparently. Or that's who they kind of were thinking about.
Interesting.
Around. Yeah. He could have worked. Jonathan Bailey did okay, and he was fine.
There's nothing wrong with the character, no.
Exactly. But so to me, I'm like, y'all could have swapped out anybody. I think.
No, because he wasn't a focus.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Which was good. Which was fine. Yeah. So that is our trivia for this episode. Let's get into the official episode.
Welcome, fellow movie buffs. I'm Jay.
I'm Cheryl.
Listen in as we break down movie and TV shows, tell you what's in the plot, and hear if we think you should have watched it when you had the chance.
Dun, dun, dun. So no surprise, this week is Thanksgiving. So it was a little light on news and trailers and all that jazz. But we do got a couple of new movie announcements that came through. No cars in the trailer park, y'all. It is empty. It is vacant.
Salem's Lot.
It done. And then we got a couple, literally 2 bites of BUNCHA-CRUNCH. So let's start off at the top here. Don Cheadle is going to be in a new movie called Canyon. It will be directed by Colin Tilley, who has directed... Colin has directed over 300 music videos, not movies, music videos. But before you write the guy off, let me just name a couple: Deuces by Chris Brown, Anaconda by Nicki Minaj, All Right by Kendrick Lamar, Mask Off by Future. There's a theme here, and Wild Thoughts by Rihanna, DJ Khaled, everybody else, and WAP by Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion.
All hits.
Yeah. All black.
Yeah.
I was
absolutely.
like, there's a theme here. So Colin does a lot of...
He has an eye for black filmography.
Boom. So the skin lighting should be very good because sometimes that's an issue. Yes. He's also done some commercials, like big time commercials. Well, so he's not as known for his film directing, but maybe this is his crossover. Okay. The script, however, will be penned by Derek Kolstad. If that don't sound familiar, which it didn't to me because I had to look it up. He's the creator of John Wick, like not just like writer of John Wick, but created John Wick. He wrote the first 3 movies. He also did a couple episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay. And if you're wondering like what this movie's about, I'm about to tell you because you like Falcon and the Winter Soldier director, John Wick. It's that kind of movie if you guess. It takes place over the course of one scorching night. I like movies that take place over one night. I don't know why. It's just a thing that we don't get very often. But Don Cheadle plays Cannon, a part-time jazz musician, full-time killer. He finds himself an unlikely protector of a young siren, who's pulled into a turf war between feuding crime families.
Interesting.
Ooh. I don't think we've seen Don Cheadle, the assassin.
No, but I now know why they hired
Colin.
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah. I do know why they hired Colin now. It's because this is a musical thriller.
Oh, wait a minute. Excuse me?
Yes.
This is a song?
Yes, Don Cheadle has signed on to lead the musical thriller, Canyon. That's directed by Colin.
Is that not in the Deadline?
No, it may not be in the Deadline article, but it's in the IMDb one as of the 27th of November.
I missed that note.
This is supposed to be some type of musical. Apparently.
Is Don gonna be singing? Maybe it's just a lot of musical songs.
That makes sense, though.
I mean,
why he plays a musician and it's directed by a
guy who's done
a
lot of music videos.
Yeah, because now that I look at other articles about it, they omit the musical part, which could just be the marketing.
Listen, now we already know
because they do not market musicals
unless it's Wicked. They do not market. Oh, that's interesting.
So 50-50 chance this is a musical, but either way, if it is a musical, they certainly are bearing the lead as they do with the other musicals they've done.
It seemed like they got a good person to direct.
Yeah, no. The ingredients are there and everything looks like it should taste good.
The cake sound like it might be quite tasty.
Yeah.
We like Don Cheadle.
So some first, I don't think I've seen Don Cheadle as a hitman, like you said.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen him in a musical.
No.
So that'll be a fun first.
No,
and
I don't think so.
I guess that's on brand. Musicals are back.
This is a different take on it, though. Although we got to be careful because Joker 2 didn't work out so well. So
that's true, but this man has hits. That's the thing, though.
And it's the creator from John Wick, so it's kind of like you said.
So the music should be good, and how it's shot should be good.
The eggs are room temperature. The flour's correctly measured.
Don Cheadle's got the acting covered.
We got a KitchenAid to mix it all together.
Yeah,
it should be okay.
Yeah, the cake is in the oven.
Okay, and we got the right pan. I'm optimistic.
I think it's good that it takes place over one night. That means that it should be back to back. There should be no moment where it should slow down. It should be, nonstop.
You think about it, John Wick took course over what, 48 hours?
Most of his movies are like over the course of 2 days.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So probably he's like, listen, I got 1 day, 2 days worth of story for you. That's all you get out of me.
Hey, listen, we all love John Wick. So if I can write you something
short and sweet and fun.
Right. Minimal plot. And all action, those could be very good movies. So, looking forward to this one. As you like to say, I like to see a trailer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely need to see a trailer. Interested to see how much music will be in it if it turns out to be a musical.
Very curious little tidbit you added there.
Tom Cruise is continuing to venture further and further away from Mission Impossible.
Not mad at it.
No, not upset at all. So he's got a new supernatural thriller that's supposed to be coming out. And I like the fact that he's going in a little bit more of the
this will
fantastical.
This first horror. They're also calling it a supernatural thriller / horror.
Yeah. So this is going to be called Deeper, and it is directed by Doug Langman, who is the director of Bourne Identity, the first one, which is the best one.
Yes, absolutely.
There's like 4 Bournes, right?
There's 3 too many.
And then the Jeremy Renner Bourne.
Yes.
That one's the worst one.
Oh.
Jeremy Renner Bourne is not bad.
It just wasn't. It was.
It
okay.
is not as good as the main storyline. And then they didn't finish it. Like it ended on a cliffhanger, and then they didn't go back to it.
I think they didn't, because I don't think it was received super well.
But anyway, he also did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, which was a good movie that I enjoy.
Still good.
Edge of Tomorrow, which is great.
I just bought that on Blu-ray.
Surprise hit. Nobody saw that
Literally
coming.
just did.
And Roadhouse, original Roadhouse, or Amazon Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal?
Amazon Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal, which was received well, but I think it got pushed under the rug because the director, somebody wanted a theatrical release and Amazon said no. So they didn't like show up to the premiere or something.
Oh, that's what he did.
Yeah.
Oh, well, hey. Yeah, you got a new job now, so that's good. And working with Tom Cruise. So it has been in development since 2016, which is a very long time, which means there should be no excuse. This should be amazing.
It's been in development Hades.
Multiple actors have been attached before exiting. This is the worrying part. So
development Hades.
Idris Elba has exited, Bradley Cooper, and Gal Gadot. The last one doesn't worry me.
Okay, because she just kind of roll with it.
But the Idris dropping out worries.
Well, I wonder if it was supposed to be male lead, and then they tried to switch it up and do female lead, and then they switched back and did male lead.
Or maybe they saw Heart of Stone and was like, actually, we're going to go in a different direction.
Or they saw Wonder Woman in 1984.
Or that. Oh, yeah, it was since 2016.
Trailers.
Yeah. So the film follows a disgraced astronaut on a deep sea dive, exploring a newly discovered trench, who soon finds himself confronted by a sinister and dangerous force. It's the Meg.
This is mine. Oh, okay.
Meg.
I was thinking Meg, but I'm like, I wonder if the sinister force is he's just going crazy.
Or it's like a kraken.
Okay. So you think it's actually going to be an animal?
Why? Yeah, like why go into the trench? Don't take me to a trench for psychological thriller. Show me a monster. Show me a sea monster.
I agree. If we going to go all the way and we got Tom Cruise in a horror movie.
Especially since it's like so much we don't know about the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the perfect place to create something.
Some new, horrific, terrible monster.
Bring out Godzilla. Yeah.
Like a deformed Godzilla, you know, missing a eye or something.
Cruise and Lehman also have a space set movie, NASA movie that's supposed to be coming out, which is still in active development. So that's good.
That's also, he did, what's the Oblivion? And he did another space movie, didn't he? No, Martian was Matt Damon.
Martian was Matt Damon, but Oblivion was also a sci-fi space movie, and well, not space. Well, it was in space for a
they were on a different world
segment of the movie,
right?
It was Earth most of the movie, but him and Morgan Freeman do leave at the end to go confront the alien cyborg in the sky.
Yeah. Okay.
Vague, but
jacked up Earth.
He's also got like some other movie coming out as well.
He's got like 3 other non-Mission Impossible movies, including Top Gun Maverick 2.
Mission Impossible, this, which is supposed to be called it's supposed to be like some Tom Cruise SpaceX NASA movie.
Oh, where he's kind of like leading a charge behind. Okay.
But if you look on his IMDb, it's impossible to figure out what he has coming out next, because most of his IMDb is just like Tom Cruise biography films about the movie that he just made. Okay. So, but interested to see it. Tom Cruise, he likes action. It's going to be action packed. It's going to be back to back. It's going to
the story will probably be solid.
Ridiculous stunts, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Because
can we leave that behind?
That's his like thing. I hear like not just Mission Impossible thing. He likes to have like creative control over like this action and stuff.
I would love for him to play a character that's just scared for his life and don't know what he's doing.
He doesn't do that type of acting anymore.
I know, but
he Vanilla Sky Tom Cruise is gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It sounds supernatural thriller is right up my horror movie alley. Yeah. For sure.
So interested to see it. Absolutely want to see a trailer for it. Right. When speaking of which, we won't be getting any other trailers this week because we're skipping the trailer part.
Beep beep. I'm waving as the trailer part goes by.
So we are going to skip the trailer part and dive into this BUNCHA-CRUNCH, which is light this week, but it's post Thanksgiving, so you should kind of be full anyway.
Exactly. You don't need too many sweets. You had enough sweet potato pie.
Right.
First bit of crunch is this is going to be a weekly thing, y'all, and I don't apologize because it ain't our fault. No. Charlize Theron is the next person that has joined Christopher Nolan's We Don't Know movie.
We covered Green Lantern news for like 3 weeks.
Literally. So, I think we're on the 3rd week of this, though.
Yes, this is now our 3rd week of Christopher Nolan.
Actually, maybe 4th. I'm losing count. But the more they announce people, the less I think it's sci-fi.
So an additional strong female lead.
Yeah.
It's being added because now this is Charlize, this is Anne Hathaway, this is Lupita and Zendaya. So
4.
This might...
That's 4.
4, yeah, 4. So this might be... Because Christopher Nolan doesn't have a lot of like women in his films. He usually has like mostly men and then like a supporting female actress.
Like two.
He had like 2 in Oppenheimer.
Yes, he had 1 in Inception. He had none in Tenet.
Yeah, because Ma was dead, so she doesn't count.
He had 2 kinda in Prestige. Yeah, it's normally not more than like 2.
Yeah.
So this is why I don't think it's a sci-fi movie.
Yeah, so
I think it's gonna be based on some historical event.
Lots of strong actors. This is in addition to Matt Damon, previously mentioned, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson. Is there another?
That's it. That's
actor. That's the only.
That's our 7 so far.
7 people so far. But we did say that Christopher Nolan loves his ensemble films full of random like A-list actors that come in for like 2 scenes of the film.
True, but I feel like if the movie is like,
it could be like Cillian Murphy in Inception. Wasn't he like in 5 minutes of that movie?
Yeah, but would you? Yeah, okay. I'm about to say, but would you make that like announcement though? I don't know.
Were all the actors in Oppenheimer announced?
I feel like every time we got one, we got a new article. Probably. Versus, and this movie's older, so I don't remember. Versus Inception, it was like a solid, 5? We up to 7 now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm nervous.
Prestige probably had the smallest cast. Scarlett Johansson and like 1 other actress was in Prestige.
Right. Yeah, I'm losing faith that this is gonna be something sci-fi like we won't.
Yeah, but it seems like I'm
sad.
It's seeming to look a little normal.
I don't want it.
But it's Christopher Nolan, so we will be disappointed in the genre, but we will still be entertained with the film.
Unless it's something like Dunkirk. I'm not going to go see it.
If it's war-based, no.
Nope.
So,
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So
unless y'all tell us it's really good, then we'll go.
Next group of crunch is Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, and John Kim have all been casted in the live-action Voltron movie with Henry Cavill. John Kim is from Amazon's Cruel Intentions,
which just came out this week, I think.
Yes.
Which I have not heard much about. I didn't even know they were redoing Cruel Intentions.
They didn't need to redo Cruel Intentions.
Of course not.
No.
Why would you do that?
No. But anyway,
good luck for him, though.
This is the biggest dump of news from this. We talked about this once when Henry Cavill was casted.
Yep.
And they overnight, it seemed like they casted
these other 3 people. Yeah. And you mentioned you were like, you think of Voltrons, you didn't think of older actors, but you thought of teenagers.
They also cast some kids who are some unknowns.
Oh, did they?
As well under these adults. So they casted. There are 4 adults. There's Henry Cavill, Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, John Kim, and there's 1 other woman. And then there's 4 younger and lesser known actors and actresses that have been casted under them.
Is one of the kids black?
Yes.
Okay, like this is a past and future situation.
So
feeling like,
and it's called Voltron Legacy.
Yeah,
the working title.
I feel like
so
this is a
sounds like it's going to be a grown up little kid thing.
Yes, yes. Oh,
so maybe like it, but Voltron.
I was thinking like Shazam.
No. Okay, so Voltron doesn't like turn children into adults.
Right.
So maybe it's like a past present thing where we're seeing them as kids and then we're seeing them as adults.
So okay, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
More like
or maybe Henry Cavill, Sterling K. Brown, Rita Ora, and John Kim are playing the parents.
Okay, maybe.
Because in the cartoon, the Voltron robots don't really have like personality.
Right.
Not in all of them. They're not Transformers.
And this is live action, y'all. This is not animated.
Right.
So that's why we were very confused about what this plot is.
Yeah. So if you don't know what Voltron is basically Megazords in space. They take a group of young people who are part of like some space
Power Rangers?
Space military or something, and they use their individual robots to defend the Earth from outside forces or forces on Earth, and then they combine their robots and turn into a Megazord.
Clink.
And the third act will be some giant robot fight.
Right.
Yeah. So fun, entertaining.
The
Transformers laid the groundwork, so the effects are already there. Just call Michael Bay if you're having trouble rendering something.
Right. Although y'all didn't see Transformers 1. Boo. No, but anyway.
But the rest of the Transformers, everybody went to see.
The first couple.
The varying quality. So,
yeah.
So
right.
Interested to see Sterling K. Brown and Henry Cavill in this.
Always.
I don't think I've seen Rita Ora in anything as an actress.
I was like, wait a minute.
She was in Fast and Furious once.
Which?
She was one of the girls who threw the flags down and started the race.
Don't count.
Once.
No.
It's acting
Did
credit.
she say anything? Did she go? Is that what she said?
She said...
Start your engines?
Something along the lines of that. Are you ready? Start your engines, go.
I asked you, I was like, when did she start acting?
She threw the flags down and then she went home.
I'm very curious of what the plot is to this, as we have older actors and what typically is a kid's themed situation. So
they could do the Power Rangers thing where they kind of just do a reboot of the entire franchise starting from the film and ignore that the cartoon existed or there was already like history, or they are going to do like they're going to pick up off of a random spot of the cartoon and the characters may be aged up.
Interesting, because Transformers 1 did a prequel like, oh, you don't really need to have watched before because we're gonna start you from the beginning.
Yeah,
starting from a random point in time in the lore. I don't know if that's
Legacy
good.
Makes me think of young, old.
Yeah,
you know, past, present. So
these,
I think you were on the money when you said it's gonna be some past future stuff.
Yeah, okay. I'm curious. I'll put it that way. I don't feel good about it only because people ain't been treating these adaptations.
I'll create a graphic and we'll put this on our need to see a trailer list.
Okay.
We need to keep a list of skeptical movies.
Right. We're like, it's not the cast, it's the plot and what's actually going to happen. So we'll see.
Okay. So that is all of the fun for the news, Trailer Park, and BUNCHA-CRUNCH this week. We're going to take a short break and we're going to dive or jump on our brooms and fly into our review for Wicked.
Defying Gravity. I sung that in a tone of the Smile 2 song. That's crazy.
Okay.
Just go to the review. Just skip to the review, y'all. This week we watched Wicked Part 1. If you didn't know, this is a 2-part situation, y'all. So we watched Wicked Part 1. It was released November 22nd, 2024. The director was John M. Chu. He also directed Crazy Rich Asians. Did you watch that?
I did not.
I didn't watch
it's supposed to be getting a sequel.
Oh, is it really? Oh,
yeah,
I think I did
rumored.
know that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It is very popular, very well received. I have not watched it yet, but John has previously did that work. The cast and characters of Wicked include, which you could probably guess if you've seen Wizard of Oz, but we're going to run it down anyway. Cynthia Erivo plays Elphaba Thorpe. We have Ariana Grande. Okay,
Butera.
we established this.
Yes.
She's still married?
She still has Butera as her last name. I believe she's...
I thought she got divorced. This is totally irrelevant to the plot, so I'm going to just keep rolling. But I saw it there, and I was like, didn't seem like she was going by 2 last names. But anyway, Ariana Grande.
She had Butera in the credits of the movie. I did notice that.
Plays Galinda Upland. Jonathan Bailey plays Firio Tegular. Which one is it?
I think it's Tegular.
Ethan Slater plays Bach Woodsman. Bowen Yang plays Fanny.
I think it's Fafney.
Or Fanny?
I think it's... Oh, is it Fanny?
I think it's Fanny.
Oof.
Y'all, this cat... Names, you know what, and made up movies and stuff, not easy for me. Marissa Bowe plays Nessa Rose Thorpe, who is Elphaba's sister, younger sister. Oh, Peter Dinklage was the voice of Dr. Dillman.
You didn't know that?
I did not know. Oh, it sounds like him now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Michelle Yeoh plays Madame Horrible. Got that one right. And Jeff Goldblum plays the Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
There are quite a few other cast and characters in this, but I think I hit all the top of the line folk. Runtime is 2 hours and 40 whole minutes. Mind you, the Broadway play is 2 hours and 45 minutes. I just want to call that out. Budget for part 1 is $150 million. I'm assuming, I think they filmed these both together and they just split the budget in half. But we're going to say part 1's budget was $150 million.
Okay.
Box office. Listen, Hollywood accounting, I am not familiar with. I'm just gonna go by
book cooking
with the Google.
Calling it out. Somebody's fudging the numbers.
This is pretty good for 150 though. I mean it's a musical. There's a lot of CGI, talking animals. So I'll give it to him. I'll give him 150.
We know how much movie making costs.
Listen, I mean superhero movies is pushing. Oh, this is cheaper. This was cheaper than Red One though. Mm-hmm. That's because they gave The Rock $200 million. But
marketed more.
Yeah. They said not the cost, but the like value of the marketing for this movie was like $350 million. Now, I don't know how you put a number on value.
Because you got to spend money to make money.
I was just like, why don't y'all just tell us how much it actually costs to market, not no value number.
Just because the books is cooked.
Yeah, Hollywood accounting. I was just like, just tell us how much it costs to market. But
they're using funny things to like to track for the budget instead of just saying how much it costs to make the movie.
Tell us how much you paid Starbucks versus what the value was.
What they'll probably do is they'll save that number until part 2 comes out, and then they get a total box office, and then they can be like, okay, this is how much you really spent, but it's not as bad because look at the return.
Right. I did read where the head of whoever said that they're gonna not market part 2 as starting as early because we've been getting Wicked promotion for like ever.
Why not?
Well, I guess 1, probably to cut back on the spending, and 2, all they got to do is re-release part 1 to advertise part 2.
I don't think hype will die. So.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think they said they were gonna not start promoting Wicked Part 2 until closer to releases. So they're giving us. Also, I think he said like they can't miss you if you don't go away. So I appreciate that. Like, don't be beat me over the head with Wicked for next year.
That's true.
Because if you didn't know, Part 2 is not coming out for another year. FYI.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. So, but speaking of money, box office for opening day was 46.7 million USD domestically. For the whole weekend, it was 112.5 million domestically. Internationally, it was 162.5. So
that's low.
You know what?
For an international number and for Wicked, I expect if the box office domestic is that number, I expect the worldwide to be much higher.
It is not a heavy hitter internationally.
Interesting.
It is definitely. Well, you have to think about it. Broadway is like a domestic. Yeah. Is a U.S. thing.
Yeah.
So unless it like converted overseas somewhere, then
this is basically the equivalent of a live action Disney princess movie, essentially.
Okay.
And those do well overseas. So I'm just confused why what was the
loss? You got to think of the source.
We got lost in translation.
The source of Disney's live action are the original movies. Now, them movies made it across the pond.
Okay, Wicked. Fair.
But you're right. It is because you do
Wizard of Oz popular internationally?
Maybe not Wicked. Maybe Wizard of Oz is, but Wicked's not. Is a prequel.
That's interesting. It's very interesting for what we know for Moana's worldwide number to be. Which had zero marketing.
Moana is
for this movie, which had some marketing, had this is a fraction. This is a speck in the eye.
You do the math. It's only 50 million internationally. That's not a lot.
Yeah,
so you're right.
Yeah,
it's strange.
But for what Moana, which had no marketing, which is a Disney princess movie, but Moana animated versus a live action equivalent.
We ain't reviewed because I got a Moana number that I was like, I gotta throw this out here.
But the amount of money Moana's making is ridiculous.
It is about to
like criminal.
Listen, it is projected to do over the 5 because it's a holiday, so they're doing a 5-day weekend versus a 3 or 5-day week versus a 3-day weekend. It's like $320 to $460 million.
It's starting to feel like an inside job.
It's about to hit $500 million.
Yeah.
In under 2 weeks.
That's wild.
For a movie that was supposed to be direct to streaming.
We're gonna find out that Dwayne secretly bought like a whole bunch of tickets.
Because
he inflated the box
for the live action Moana that's coming. It's funny because, and we get sidetracked just a tad.
Yeah.
But everybody was talking about, where's the marketing for Moana? They don't care about Moana. Moana's coming out next week. And Disney saw the pre-sales and was like, we're good.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Disney
we don't need to market
Moana's
it.
coming out next week. See you there.
Y'all, the word of mouth is y'all. Yeah. Like, we don't need to.
Everybody's confusion about where Moana is why Moana will make the most money at the box office.
They plan it every 15 minutes at the movies.
Combined with Gladiator.
Yeah.
And Wicked.
Yes.
And Moana. This is tracking to be the biggest opening. This is tracking to be the biggest Thanksgiving weekend ever for the box office. And like 15% of that is Gladiator and Wicked.
And everything is Moana.
And 85% is
Moana. We did not watch the first Moana. So the second one was not even on my radar until the box office numbers was coming in. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, it's going to do like Deadpool Wolverine numbers, which is crazy.
Another $1 billion for Disney.
Yeah. But
after Inside Out 2 and Deadpool.
But our short tangent.
Right.
It is the biggest opening weekend for a musical adaptation.
Yes.
It's good.
I mean, you can't get bigger than biggest.
True. And it's second biggest Thanksgiving day at the box office.
Yes, and number 1 is Moana too.
That's crazy.
As you just mentioned, this is the biggest weekend for Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Moana is at number 1 for Thanksgiving Day on sales, and Wicked was number 2.
Dang.
Really,
Scott really picked a bad release schedule.
He did because they're showing Gladiator 2, but the screens are literally Moana and Wicked.
It's so hard to find a screening for Gladiator.
If you want to watch Gladiator in a premium screen, you should have. I don't even know. We couldn't even do an opening weekend.
We're in a metropolitan city.
Exactly.
And we could barely get.
We're like the 15th largest city in the United States, and the only XD showing in our theater was 11:45 at night.
Right.
Because Wicked was playing.
Right.
And now Moana
was right after that.
It's like we didn't even have no option.
It's just insane that really needs to do better.
You're right. This weekend the movie theater chains is like rolling in cash right now. And you know what? Good for the movies. We are movie people. We like when movies do good.
It's celebratory.
It is. And Wicked is all up in that commotion. And it's probably gonna have the longest legs through the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But ratings wise, also celebratory. It has an A cinema score, which I mean, come on. Anything in A, just for record, since we was talking about it, Moana has an A-. Just throwing that out there. Yeah, got it.
Interesting.
A-.
Kids like that movie less.
Right. Well, I think the target audience is a little different because ain't no kid, no 5-year-old sitting no 2 hour and 40-minute movie. You think about it.
You're true. Yeah. Unless you're a kid like our cousin that really, really likes musicals and has the patience to
right.
sit through
And she's slightly older, so she can sit through Wicked versus your 5 and 6 year olds. They want to see Moana too.
Slightly older than target demographic, not slightly older than us.
Clarification.
Right.
Yes. But cinema score for Wicked was an A. Rotten Tomatoes score, critics 89, audience 96. So
I wonder why critics didn't like it as much.
It was actually a 90 like an hour ago. Then I checked it.
So one critic.
I didn't do the research into why what the nitpicks were about it, but 89 is still pretty good. Moana, because we was talking about, is at like a 67. Cool. But the audience score for Moana is like a 92.
Yes.
So kids don't care. Y'all critics be like, it sucks, and kids be like, who? Critic, what?
Where are we going? Can we get ice cream after?
Exactly. It's like Mario all over again.
Right.
Mario's got like a 32% critic score, like
not having like
1,000 on audience score. But anywho, back to Wicked. Wicked was very well received on both the audience side and the critic side. Cinema score A. I mean, only A+ is higher. Yeah. So it's fine. It's totally fine. So let's get into Jay giving us the plot for Wicked Part 1.
So the plot of Wicked Part 1 is, the story of Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So Wicked is going back to tell the story of the witch and Galinda, their friendship prior to their fallout. And we're going to find out how things played out leading up to the arrival of Dorothy.
Correct.
Essentially.
That's a good
without spoiling anything.
Right, I was gonna say, you say anything else and you might be spoiler. Yeah. So we're gonna get into our non-spoiler thoughts first before we spoil the movie. Do you want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
So this looks really good. Now we already said this at the end of the last episode. Neither one of us are. Jay has musicals that he likes. I tend to avoid musicals unless it's like a mostly black cast. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest. Like
we saw Color Purple.
Color Purple, Hamilton. I watched Hamilton.
That was a COVID watch. We had nowhere else to go.
Exactly. And but you've seen like everything else.
I've seen
like Chicago.
More musicals. You've seen Sweeney Todd.
The movie.
With Johnny Depp. That's a musical.
Okay.
And Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Okay. I've seen that. Chicago. Oliver.
Okay, I've seen Oliver.
Yeah. This.
Okay, I'm a little more cultured than I think. Okay.
Yeah, you've seen some musicals. Yeah. You just wipe them from your mind.
Just don't remember. But this looks really good on screen. So I mentioned that because we don't have a frame of reference for the actual Wicked musical. Like our frame of reference is just the Wizard of Oz and this. But on the screen, it looked really good. The dance numbers were really well choreographed. Even you can even see the people in the background getting into it. Costuming was excellent. Great. All of Alphabet's outfits, 12 out of 10. So whoever did that, Oscar nomination, please, for that. Even better than Gladiator. Because we was impressed by the Gladiator fits. These was real good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So set design was good. So they built out the shiz, the school, very well. It was giving me Harry Potter just a little bit.
Yeah, like in the daytime.
And then the scale. So when we get to the Emerald City, all that looks really good. I would say that the songs were good. I don't remember any of them besides, and I guess 2 is not bad. popular. Like, I don't remember.
I remember the sequences.
Okay.
But you can't tell me I can't sing the song that went with it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So they sound like they were good and catchy, but they didn't catch on to me after the movie was over. And then all the acting was good as well. There were some standouts for me, but I would say all around, all of the different characters, because there's a nice chunk of cast in this, all the acting was good as well. Yeah. So that's it for my non-spoiler thoughts, I think.
I thought that this was a good adaptation for somebody who has not seen the original. So, I mean, I don't even have a frame of reference for an adaptation. Like
it feels like it was good.
It feels like this would be a good adaptation of a play that I have not seen. Right. So, if I had seen the play and I liked the play and I'd seen this movie, I would be satisfied.
I can see how the people who are fans of the musical also like this.
Yes. Yeah. This was good. I think that it was a good movie. Like you said, I think the costuming and the characters, special attention was paid to. I liked all of the acting. I liked the background characters, like you said. They gave me like Scream vibes a little. Because if you rewatch the first Scream, the background actors in all the Screams are like super animated or do like weird things.
Because you're supposed to be like in a killer environment.
Yeah. Whenever Wes Craven usually directs the background actors in Scream to react to what the main characters are saying. So if you rewatch Scream 1 when Randy's talking about there's always a reason to kill your girlfriend, the girl in the row behind him who's looking at DVDs looks at Randy, then looks at everybody else to see if anybody heard what he said. And that's kind of how the background actors in Wicked act.
Right.
They're reacting to the things that the main characters are saying, but they're not in the conversation.
Right, or doing. Okay, you're right. Yeah. I didn't notice that till you pointed out.
The way that they react to everything Elphaba says and does, or just her presence in the background is hilarious. And I like the way that they
was a nice touch.
Paid attention to doing that. And the last thing I'll say before I get into non-spoilers is I like this better than I thought it would be. I went into it thinking that it was just going to be a musical about friendship, which nothing's wrong with that. That's just not particularly interesting to me. But they did add the themes of like class and prejudice and race and bullying and things like that, which I didn't expect because I did not see the musical. I liked that was added in here, and I enjoyed that. I didn't particularly care for the music, like you said, and that's because it just didn't. It wasn't memorable to me. The music was not memorable to me.
I agree.
And I kept listening into the songs for like things that advance the plot or the key moments in the lyrics that I should be paying attention to, and nothing really stuck for me in the songs.
Okay.
Great choreo though.
Yeah.
Great dancing.
That's what I said. The dancing of all the musical numbers was good.
And if I had to, like I said this to you, if I had to recommend this to somebody who does not like musicals, I do think this is a good movie. Yes. But I would tell them, wait to watch it at home if you don't like musicals.
Okay.
And if you can fast forward through the music parts, I think that you will still really enjoy the movie. I think the writing, the dialogue, and the story elements are still good and solid. Without the music, it's still a good movie.
Okay.
If you're not a fan of musicals.
I would if you absolutely detest musicals, don't bother. But I do think the movie itself is good.
Yeah, if you absolutely detest musicals, I do think fast forwarding through the music parts to watch the rest of the movie and the acting is
because this is a musical, like musical.
No, it's
musical.
Music. Yeah, it's
like
music.
They singing.
It's like, why are we singing right now? Musical.
Hello. So. 2 words, and I was like, is she doing this in a tune?
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost felt like Joker when he was trying to tell her, like, just stop singing, just talk to me.
But this is the musical that Joker thought it was trying to be, basically. Yeah. So, anything else for non-spoiler?
No, those are my non-spoiler.
All right, so we're going to jump into our spoiler section of this review in 3, and 2, and 1. So, typically, now that we are switched up our format a little bit, our spoiler section, we're going to start with going through each of our characters here. First up on the list, we have Elphaba Thorpe, who I previously said was played by Cynthia Erivo.
Yes.
I didn't realize this until this movie. I've never seen Cynthia act in anything. So she was good. Her acting was good. The character though, so I'll specifically talk about the character. She was very self-assured about herself, which I really like. She wasn't, although Galinda actually kind of pinpointed, because there's a scene, you've seen this in the trailer, where hot blonde guy, or I don't even know, Jonathan Bailey's character says, it's like she doesn't even care what people think. And Glinda's like, well, yes, she does. She just acts like she doesn't.
Yeah.
So she's not like this person who doesn't have emotions and feelings, but she also kind of, stands up for herself. Like, she's green. She's been bullied and people have been mean to her all her life. So she's kind of built this thick skin, but underneath it, I just want to be treated fair like everybody else. She doesn't lose her sense of wanting to be treated fairly. So I really like the character, although part of me is also kind of like, yeah, I see how she become the Wicked Witch without knowing part 2, because I know there's part 2 in here. Without seeing part 2 and knowing part 1 and Wizard of Oz, you can make the leap to be like, yeah, I see how this happened, because y'all was treating this woman like trash because y'all was racist essentially against her being green. Right. So character, I loved her. All the singing part she was good. For all the people that were singing, I could understand her the most.
Yes.
Shout out to that.
Yeah.
Because another character I'll get to, she was singing and I was like,
beautiful voice.
What?
Yeah.
This sounds good. I have no idea what you're saying.
The lyrics would have helped.
I need subtitles.
Yeah.
Because I need the subtitles on Hamilton too. To be honest, I was kind of like, I don't know what's going on because something.
That was kind of like, what do you call that? Maybe because it was
rapping. I don't know.
Yeah, that was kind of like hip opera.
Yeah, something. But as far as Alphaba, I liked her. I'm a strong, confident person, but I also want to be treated fairly, and I also want other people to be treated fairly.
Yeah, I like the fact that I went into it thinking that she was going to be a victim the whole movie, but I like the fact that she was never a victim.
Yes.
Even when she was a little girl, we get scenes with her fighting back against her bullies.
Right.
Yeah, I like the fact that she's like soft spoken, but she's very strong. She's very articulate. Right. Even though the movie frames it to basically be like she's on her own. The whole world is against her just because of how she looks and who she is.
Right.
I like the fact that did not deter her character or slow her character down. She still went to class. She didn't like have a fear or wasn't anxious about being around people. She just held her head up high and walked through crowds of people talking smack about her. And if she had a clap back, she served it. Right. And went about her business.
Yeah. I also didn't realize that her character in the movie, she originally wasn't going to the school. She was there to drop off her sister, and she has a magical sorcery moment, and Madame Morble's like, oh girl, you ain't going nowhere because I got plans for you. Right. And that's how she gets into the school. So I was like, oh, that's an interesting twist. If you hadn't seen a musical, you wouldn't know that. So that was kind of a cool way to introduce her into the movie. So, yep.
Yeah, and like you said, I think I just enjoyed her songs the most out of all of them. None of them really stuck to me, but Defying Gravity, for example, which is the final song at the end, I really enjoyed. I also enjoyed The Wizard and I.
Yes, also good. Yeah. That was a good one.
Yeah. So
I think she had the songs that I liked the most, and I could also understand what she was saying. So I was like, oh, this is how the plot is advancing. Yeah. So yes, I would agree with that.
I favored her songs the most. I also say that there's a big age gap between her and Ariana Grande. Cynthia Erivo is 37, Ariana Grande is 31, but they kind of, not a big age gap, but
6 years.
There's 6 years age gap. They seem both like they're the same age and younger.
Yes.
So they both kind of disappear into their roles. This is a movie where I didn't realize until leaving the movie that this is supposed to be a school, but every cast member is a full-grown adult in their 30s.
Now, I did have a thought. I was like, are y'all supposed to be teenagers?
She did a really good job. Yeah. Cynthia Erivo did a really good job of like being an adult and escaping into a character that feels really young. Younger. She felt adolescent. Her and
she had more to learn.
Yeah, they felt like really young. They felt like high school age students going through the trials and tribulations of like being bullied, self-discovery, right, or going to college for the first time.
Yeah, I feel like it must have been a college.
More like college age, I guess. Well, I think high school only because you said Hogwarts, and it kind of gave me like a Hogwarts-esque feel, and that was kind of like high school, I guess, for them. But she and Ariana Grande, even though they're not the same age, they both felt the same age and young, and I think that's a testament to her acting.
Yeah, agree. Absolutely. All right. Anything else that we have for Alphaba?
No.
Okay. Let's move on to our second lead. I'm going to call these co-leads because I know the movie is called Wicked, and it's about mostly Alphaba, but I feel like the way Ariana Grande played Glinda,
it's like Chicago, where it's like Renee Zellweger and Catherine Zeta-Jones. They were both the lead of Chicago.
Okay. She did it. I ain't got no negative to say.
Ariana Grande was made for this role.
played it perfectly. So Galinda, if you know anything about Wicked, she is not nice.
No.
And she does eventually. She is the same character that becomes Glinda the Good. But her background, she's a bully. She mean. She's self-absorbed. She's very much kind of like about the outward appearance. Don't care about the innards. Yeah. But she played her very well. She had I don't want to say I enjoyed her more than
She's
Alphaba.
The worst type of person.
She is, but the way I enjoyed seeing it on screen.
Yes.
I'll just put it that way. Like, she had a couple of funny moments where she was just so ridiculous you couldn't help but laugh. She also, and my nitpick though was that when she sung, sometimes I couldn't understand what she was saying.
She has a really good voice. Yeah. But she Mariah carried the whole movie. It was kind of just like, I can't hear on that octave.
That opening song, I leaned over to you and whispered, I was like, I have no idea what she's saying. I have no idea what she's saying.
I told you, I was like, I felt like something was wrong with my hearing because I could not understand. And I had just spent all day 3D printing before we went to the movie theater. So all I understood was the words of a machine. But I thought something was wrong with me when the opening chorus, the Munchkins are singing the song. And I'm like, I can make out the Wicked Witch parts, but everything else they're saying, I'm being lost in.
Yeah, it sounded good, but I have no idea what the words were.
She was doing the high-pitched, she was hitting the high-pitched note over the sound of the Munchkins singing. I'm like, so are y'all singing separate things?
I need to go back and look at the words because I really do want to know what the heck she was saying.
If you saw the play, and apparently these are the same songs.
Okay.
If you saw the play,
you already knew.
You know the songs.
Right.
So I'm interested to hear feedback from people who saw the play, if the songs sounded as good, better, worse, or if the songs were as clear in the movie as they are on the play or not. Or is something wrong with me?
Something while the Munchkins is also singing, and I cannot. If it was life or death, I'd be out of here because I have no idea what she's saying.
And that was part of the reason why I couldn't get it. I just kind of gave up a little bit on trying to get attached to the music because I just couldn't understand a lot of what the songs were.
Except Popular.
Yeah.
So Popular was the one song that was probably my favorite sequence outside of Defying Gravity. She, like, that part I could understand what she was saying because she's trying to teach Alphaba, how to be popular and be pretty and all that jazz. And I could hear it, but for some reason that opening number, I was like, girl.
Yeah, the Munchkin number was illegible.
No. I mean, you sound real good and you could literally be selling me water through the screen and I would have no idea.
But she was good for the movie.
Yeah.
I kind of, she kind of reminds me of, have you ever seen The Fairly Odd Parents?
Yeah.
His Fairly Odd Parents. She was animated. She was animated in a way that's like, you only see this type of acting in like a cartoon.
Okay.
She was kind of like Gumball.
Okay.
Where it was kind of like, you're all over the place. You have way too much energy for a regular human being.
Mm-hmm.
I despised her at the beginning.
Oh, her character is the most.
It's funny. I didn't like her until Elphaba started liking her. The movie puts you on Elphaba's side. I mean, I liked her acting and her performance.
You're talking about the character.
I didn't like the character.
Yeah.
Really. I saw the brighter sides of the character once Elphaba started seeing the brighter sides of the character. I enjoyed her in a way that I enjoy Regina George.
Right.
Where it's like, you're an awful, terrible, awful person. But
I just like seeing this on screen.
You're fun and entertaining, and I wouldn't be your friend in real life, but I enjoy,
Yeah, I agree. The flip, when they have the flip to being friends, I think that was like, oh, okay, she has some good qualities about her. She's still self-absorbed, but it's in there somewhere.
And I like the fact that it added this backstory for Glinda. One, her name is not Glinda, it's Galinda. And the fact that off of what we know from the Wizard of Oz and the Wiz, she hasn't always been a nice person. So I like the fact that she was like awful and
I'm actually
vain.
wondering if she's ever been a nice person.
Yeah, and then you have to go back and watch the Wizard of Oz and watch the Wiz and be like,
Right. And now, mind you, there's a part
wolf in sheep's clothing.
Right. There's a part 2 there that'll fill in some gaps. But right now where we stand, I don't know if she's ever been a good person.
I think Ariana Grande was great for this role. Excellent comedic timing.
Yeah.
I especially like the scene when they were writing in their diaries and Elphaba's writing about perseverance and being there for her sister, and Ariana Grande Yolanda is talking about persevering, having to share her room with Elphaba. And I like that she felt like anytime she did something for somebody, it was like a reward to them, and they should be thankful for the fact that she did that.
When they sung together, I could also make it out pretty good. Yeah. It was just the solo joints. I was like, Ariana, what?
And the last thing I'll say for both of them, they do really good acting with the emotion. The emotional beats they did really, really good.
Very good.
Even though I did not, they make Galinda like so detestable the whole movie when she has those emotional parts.
Yeah.
When she does the first dance with Elphaba at the club, I was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is great. Way to turn a character around for the audience and make us like her.
They had good chemistry. The two of them had good chemistry together. Even as the movie progresses and you already know where it's about to go, they still have a moment of like connectedness, and they played it off very well.
Absolutely.
Very well. Yep.
All right. Let's talk about Fiyero. Fiyero is played by Jonathan Bailey, who we will be seeing soon in the next Jurassic Park film next to Scarlett Johansson.
He was fine.
Yeah. I didn't think Fiyero's character was a standout for me. There was nothing wrong with him, but I mean, he was a plot device.
He was.
He was there to draw some confusion.
He was like the love interest
Yeah.
of both characters.
Yeah. He was there to draw like some slight confusion between the two leads. And
have some conflict for Elphaba, who's like, I've never been able to be in love with somebody, and the person I do like actually likes the person who I'm just now being friends with. So she had that inner conflict going on.
This is part one, so his, other than like being introductory and having like scenes with the main characters, I feel like what I've read so far, not having seen the Wicked play, is that his most prominent parts are going to be in the second half. It sounds like.
Agree. I feel like they set him up to have a bigger part in the second half. He did have one song on his own that I didn't love, but the choreography was very good, so I enjoyed it anyway. I was like, I don't know if I love this song, but y'all dancing and he delivered, clacking, so it's good.
He delivered his comedic lines well.
Yes, I agree.
I'm interested to find out who voiced the horse. I thought the horse was funny, and I'm mad the horse did not come back, because when the horse laughed at him when Elphaba was like brushing him off in the forest, I expected to see more horse, and I didn't, and I was upset by that.
I guess he couldn't have a horse at school. Yeah. So his horse was pretty funny.
Yeah.
When for 2 seconds we saw him.
When he almost runs over Elphaba in the forest, and she's like, "Do you just run through life? Do you go through life just running over everybody in your path?" And he says, "Of course not." And the horse laughs in the background. I thought that was funny
because his horse was like talking.
Yeah.
So we did like the horse.
So that's all I have.
Shout out to the horse.
That's all I have for Fiyero. Do you want to talk about Madame Morrible?
I think we're going to have a slight difference of opinion on this. Okay. I quite enjoyed Michelle Yeoh as Madame Morrible. You already know, if you didn't pick it up from the trailer, she is not a good person.
Right.
But she guides Elphaba to be like a great sorcerer so she can go meet the wizard. So she's kind of leading her and guiding her. And Elphaba has all this trust in her. Come to find out she's playing her like a fiddle. But you kind of already knew that was coming. But I thought she played pretty good, like mean. She also has a couple lines that are... She's stern, but her line delivery kind of makes you laugh because the way she's kind of dogging Galinda. It's pretty, because she don't want nothing to do with Galinda, and Galinda is obsessed with her.
Yes.
And she's like, girl, get away from me. I'm only here for Elphaba.
Yeah.
But the way she delivered that was all, I mean, Michelle Yeoh's Michelle Yeoh.
She's like the kid in the first Jurassic Park who was chasing Dr. Grant around. He was trying to run away from her. He was trying to run away from her.
She is Dr. Grant, but she's like a bad Dr. Grant, essentially. So that dynamic was good, but I thought she played it up pretty well. She was in this maybe more than I thought she was going to be, because she wasn't in any of like
she
the
was in less than I thought she was going to be.
Okay, she wasn't in any other promo. So I thought she was going to be in here for like 5 minutes at the, maybe at the beginning, maybe at the end, and then that was going to be it. But she was in here quite a bit. Yeah. So I liked her character, and I thought when she did her turn of like revealing who she was, like all that, Michelle Yeoh was just like, I got it. I'm good. I'm about to roll with this. So yeah.
So I didn't dislike her character. I just wanted her to be just a little more evil.
Okay.
She was mean, but she was only mean to Galinda, and it didn't seem like unnecessarily mean to me because Galinda was like awful. And right. Galinda deserved it.
She did.
But I wanted her to be more, I wanted more sinister side eyes from her.
Okay.
And I just felt like we only really saw her when she was in scenes with Elphaba, so she was nice. And then she did her twist at the end with Jeff Goldblum. And I was like, oh, I wish they sprinkled more evil seeds.
Okay. All leading up to when she flipped. Okay.
I got that she was evil just because I think I knew that going in.
Yeah, maybe they didn't tell us, but I figured she was going in because of the trailers.
Yeah, so I figured that she was going to be evil, but I wanted her to do something evil, and she didn't really do anything
She's just kind of leading Elphaba to the lion's den versus actually doing something.
I wanted a moment where Elphaba failed to levitate something, and Madame Morrible got upset.
I thought she was going to in one particular scene, and she was just kind of like, oh.
She was so soft and gentle to her the whole movie.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, well, I wish you were more outwardly evil. We're like ominous. I wish that she was ominous in a way that Elphaba kind of questioned her a little bit, but she was just super nice. So
yeah.
But I always love Michelle Yeoh. I do think she did a good job in the movie. Yes. I did enjoy her character, but that is a con. I wish she was more of because we didn't really get a villain. So,
yeah, and I wonder how much she's gonna be in the next one.
Right. So I wonder if she upgrades to like actual active villain role.
Right. Because as we said, we kind of questioning how if Glinda was ever good, and I wonder if Madame Morrible has something to do with more of her backstory.
So Morrible didn't make it into The Wiz, so something happened.
So yeah.
Right. So, and the last on the list is The Wizard of Oz, which is played by one of our favorite actors of all time, who never changes, don't ever change.
Please
Jeff Goldblum.
Don't. Because he's literally Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
And it's quirky,
as soon
weird.
As he came out from behind the curtain, I said, "Why is Jeff Goldblum the same?"
He's literally, and it's not a bad thing.
No,
it's literally when you see Jeff Goldblum, I feel like in a movie you want Jeff Goldblum.
That's the type of character you want,
right?
In it.
And he's Oz, so they don't change the flip. They don't change the script on this. He is still fake, lying, cheating, stealing. And Jeff Goldblum plays right into it. But Jeff Goldblum is very like charismatic, suave, smooth, and that's how he is in this movie.
You feel better about Oz because he's being played by Jeff Goldblum. That's the only good thing I can say about it.
Oh, Oz, you're such a trickster.
But he's Jeff Goldblum, and the Oz, so you know what you're going to get with that. You're going to get a kooky performance that's going to be funny. You're going to get lines that may mean something or may not mean something.
Right. He say a line, you like, what?
He might trail off and then just say, never mind, and talk about something else completely. But he was good.
I feel like he did in this movie.
He broke off into a random like shadow musical number and then didn't finish it. I'm just like, all right, that's enough of that.
Right. And Jeff Goldblum actually does jazz, jazz singing and piano. So
in real life,
this is hit right up his freaking alley. And he played it. I'm hoping, hope. Obviously, it would be weird not to get more Jeff. And because he doesn't show up till maybe like the last 15-30 minutes of this one.
It seemed like he was having a good time.
Yeah.
I am interested to see if he's more villainous in the next one as well. The only thing I think I've seen Jeff Goldblum as a full villain was Grandmaster. Oh. And he was good. He was good as a villain who you did not hate.
He's freaking Grandmaster in this, but less flashy. And no assistant.
And he doesn't have his assistant with the melting stick.
With the melting stick.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So, Jeff Goldblum is a national treasure, y'all. There's nothing bad to say here.
He's so good. I'm interested to see more villain Jeff Goldblum.
Yes.
Kooky villain Jeff Goldblum. Yeah.
It's funny because we know he make it out.
Yes, exactly. To the end.
There's another whiz. So let's they insert another whiz. Jeff makes it. So
okay.
Woo-hoo.
So let's get into our likes and dislikes. Would you like to go first, or would you like me to go first?
I will say, I don't have a lot of dislikes. I will say something that's probably not a popular opinion. I would have liked this movie without the songs.
That's my only dislike is the songs.
Yeah.
The songs didn't grab me. And even the songs that I did understand, not all of them. I mean, I can't hear. I understand English. But not all of the songs that I understood grabbed me. Defying Gravity was good because it made for a great climax. It made for a good musical number for a good climax. But if it was sung by itself, I don't think it would be as powerful.
Yeah, you got we had the whole build up during the whole movie where Alpha was about to take off for her own and she's now officially been labeled like a wicked witch or whatever. And she, we know that she's not bad, but everybody else thinks she's bad. And it's a great ending to a part one of a movie. I read somewhere where people, maybe the director said, like, there was no way we could stick this song in the middle of the movie. So we had to stick it at, like, the end of part 1.
Yeah. Fiero's song about not caring about anything, I didn't really care for.
Yeah, that was my least favorite.
But good choreo.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great choreo. All of them had great choreo.
They was tapping.
All of the
dancing,
songs had great
clack.
things to look at, even if you did not like what or care for what you were hearing. So that's my only negative, is that I did not care for the songs.
Right, but they were good to look at. The experience was nice.
The songs didn't detract from the film.
Beautiful gowns?
Yeah.
Sure.
There
we go. I will also say, and this, like, just like put it wherever you want it, it felt a little long. There was one point where I was checking the time and I was like, ooh, we got a whole hour and 15 minutes left.
It has very long shots. Not like scenes, but just shots. Shots on just Elphaba's face, or shots on somebody looking at something. And it's like, okay, you've established the emotion. Now it's time to move on to the next shot.
And I guess with a musical, you have full songs. Mm-hmm. So one scene is like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
because we're singing a whole, like, Defying Gravity probably went on for what, 6-7 minutes, because they kind of chopped it up, because they started singing it and then something happened and then they kept singing it and then something happened and then finally we get her solo where she going on. It's kind of like, we've been at this stage for like 20 minutes.
I will say I do appreciate making the song short for the people who do not sing. So Michelle Yeoh's song was short. Peter Dinklage's song was short. They were so short, they were kind of just like, why do it? So I do appreciate that the non-singers songs.
Does Jonathan Bailey sing?
I'm not sure. I think he has theater experience. Okay. Usually theater actors
got a low voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and he didn't sound bad. So
no, but it was almost kind of like, I was like, I wonder if he's a real life singer, because it's not punchy.
He has to have a real life choreo, because choreo was good. Everybody has to be some type of dancer in this.
Yeah, some experience for sure. And I didn't really have any. The dislikes would be, I think I would have liked this movie better if there weren't songs, but it's a musical, so that feels kind of petty. I know, I understand. And it felt a little long. Yeah. If just a touch.
So my likes would be the costuming, which we mentioned.
Absolutely.
Special shout out to Elphaba's high shoulders.
Oh, she always had like high creases,
like high pointy shoulders, and like a blazer jacket. One of her things you said was like a jumper dress that had high shoulders, so and it had like it had a button up under it that went like the collar was like pointy, and it like went down to like the mid of her chest.
Collars was even fancy.
Yeah,
very good.
Costuming was A+. Like I said, background actors, we mentioned choreo. I'll say I liked, my last like is the world building.
Okay.
And this was a big thing for me because Oz, the world, and Wizard of Oz, and The Wiz, and I saw James Franco's Wizard of Oz too. The Oz Great and Powerful movie.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Oz always felt empty to me. It always felt beautifully decorated, but empty. Like there's no people. Like Oz is full of like, it's like going to an amusement park after closing. Or like on a day where it's closed,
like Universal Studios after shutdown.
Yeah, but in the daytime, and it just seems like it's beautiful. There's so many things to do. It's great to look at. It's wonderfully decorated. But where are the people? It's always felt barren to me. No communities between Munchkinland and Emerald City.
Yeah, this is definitely building a whole what do we call it? Middle Earth.
Yeah, but like, and my closest parallel, I was thinking about, I was like, what's the closest parallel I could put to this? And I was like, we used to play Final Fantasy when we were kids. And Final Fantasy is kind of similar to The Wizard of Oz, where you got a ragtag group of people and you're traveling. Traveling across the world, going to one specific place, but you're hitting a bunch of like different towns and cities on the way. And on the way, you experience like the different towns and how it's different from the next one, and the people are different, and that adds to like the world building because you're meeting people in these different places. I would agree with that. In The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz, I've always liked The Wizard of Oz and The Wiz, but I always wish that there were more people. Okay. Like on the road, they never run into anybody. Right. So
kind of like you like your Lord of the Rings, your Harry Potter. What did you just mention?
Yeah, like Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, those other fantasy places that have more than one place, more than two places to go. Okay. I like that they added Shiz to this. Shout out to the name. I love Shiz. So
I thought that was interesting. I was like, Shiz is an interesting name.
Shiz is fun.
Okay.
So I like that they added locations.
Okay.
Shiz. They added wherever Elphaba grew up. There was more people. This is the first time I'm seeing an Oz movie where there are more people than Dorothy and the witches. And I like
you
that.
felt like they was actually living in a place
it felt
that
like
actually
a world.
was real.
It felt like a world that was populated with people. And in The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy leaves to go to the Wizard to go to Oz, it seems like she's going to a place where no other person has ever been before. And this makes Oz feel like there's life in Oz.
Okay.
Outside of just like what it looks like, there's people living in Oz. There's community.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, one of the reasons that the director said that they split it into two parts, outside of money, cha-ching,
wallets,
right, was because he wanted to do world building, and they
I didn't know that.
Well, they couldn't fit, and they feel like they couldn't fit, and they couldn't flesh out as much of the whole musical in trying to cram it into 2 hours.
Yeah,
it's like I get it, and that is a good reason to split it into two. But do they both need to be 2 hours and 40 minutes? I don't know.
I did not know that was his goal, but I like that because...
Yeah. Now, I know the studio was like, sure, 3 parts. We can do that, too. You want to do 3 parts?
It's weird to say, but Oz as a world has been around for so long. Mm-hmm. It's always been great, but I feel like it always could have benefited from additional world building.
And they did
and people. And I think that they did a really good job in this.
Right.
Yeah.
It felt a little longer. Maybe like 2 hours would have been like the sweet spot. Because I did feel myself feeling a little restless towards the end. But if you're going to split it into 2 and you're going to spend that time doing a world building, it's a valid reason.
Yeah. So now that I've seen this, if I ever rewatch The Wiz or The Wizard of Oz, I feel like the world that they're in is much fuller. Even if I don't see them, now I know that it's much fuller.
Exists. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that brings me joy.
You're right. And it kind of should get its own accolade for that, because outside of like you said, it's just Wizard of Oz. They on a really big road,
and they don't run into anybody.
We don't even see Kansas for real. Like,
unless it's like a villain or something.
I guess the Emerald City and the Wiz though, like that was pretty grand.
That was great.
But the Emerald City and the Wizard of Oz, I don't even remember.
Like in the Wiz, there was nobody in the train station. I was kind of like, where are the people?
Creepy.
Is anybody else going anywhere else in Oz?
That creepy scene.
You didn't like the marionettes?
Oh my god, the little puppets.
Yeah. Ooh.
Okay.
Sorry.
Trigger word.
I didn't mean to trigger anybody.
Triggering. If you have not seen The Wiz, I feel like you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're gonna watch The Wizard of Oz, you're gonna watch Wicked. Watch The Wiz at night, just to get the effect. It is a classic in a black household. Okay.
Good. It's a little. The Wizard of Oz has always been a little scary to people.
Wizard of Oz or the Wiz?
Just all of them. The Wizard of Oz. Yeah. Mom doesn't like the Wizard of Oz. It gives her nightmares.
Yeah.
The marionettes spook you. So that's your parallel.
Just weird.
In the Wiz.
In the empty train station.
Every Wizard of Oz or Oz type of movie has like a slightly scary element to it.
These wizards ain't like the ones in Hogwarts. They look a little unfriendly.
The scary element in this one was prejudice. that was the real villain.
It was a real life scary element.
Okay, so let's talk about the ending.
So the ending of part 1, it does. People said it ended on a cliffhanger. I didn't feel like it did, but it does set up a part 2 to it. So basically, Elphaba gets to the Wizard of Oz because Madame Morrible calls for her to go. She goes and she takes Galinda, who has now changed her name to Galinda in a very hilarious scene, by the way. They make it there. She has to prove herself to the Wiz, and by doing so, she has to read this book. I can't remember the name of the book.
The Grimoire.
The Grimoire.
It's a grimoire. It's a Darkhold.
It's a Darkhold. She got to read the Darkhold. She reads the Darkhold. It works, and then in doing that, she pretty much discovers that Oz is a sham.
Because he could not do it.
Right. She asked him to read it, and he's kind of like, oh, you want me? Me?
And could Michelle Yeoh do it?
No.
Do we know if... Okay, I guess Michelle Yeoh, the only thing magical she did was make the rain go away. But did she do that? Because she claimed that she took credit for Elphaba's destroying the common the courtyard,
right.
I guess.
Because
And then she, quote unquote, made the rain go away.
And she did something. She did a little clap to get the birds' attention, but that didn't really seem magical. She was clapping.
Mm-hmm. And she didn't read the grimoire. So if anybody has seen Wicked and knows the answer, just don't tell us, because I do. And now that I've seen it, I do enjoy not knowing the things that I don't know.
Right. So because we know I spoiled the end of Wicked.
I kind of already knew.
Right, but we don't know the myth. We don't know. We got the dessert. We ain't got the entree and the appetizers to part 2 yet. So we don't want to know that part. Yeah. We want to know the journey to how they get there.
So essentially, they get chased through the town. She steals the grimoire.
Yes.
Yeah, and they get chased into like a high tower in Emerald City by the flying monkeys and his guards.
Yes.
And it's this is the crossroads.
Exactly.
Elphaba and Galinda are trapped, and they have a choice. Are they going to hop on Elphaba's broom and fly away and go off together and use the grimoire and do greater things and change the world, or are they going to separate to the wizard? And they're basically split. Elphaba's like, I'm hopping on this broom and leaving.
Peace out.
And Galinda's like, this is where I wanted to be.
I'm staying.
Yeah. She was like, Galinda was like, well, Elphaba was like, I don't want this anymore. And Galinda is kind of like, I still want this.
Yeah, because Galinda's kind of telling her, this is everything you wanted. And Elphaba's kind of like, I actually found out this is bullcrap.
Yeah, she was like,
this is crazy.
She was like, I don't want this anymore.
Yo, people are awful.
Yeah.
So they have and that was a good scene of, and initially they seem like they're still friends and they part ways. But at the very last second, it seemed like actually Galinda's like, no, girl, you are crazy. And Elphaba's kind of like, no, you are crazy. And then they go their separate ways.
It seems like that Galinda kind of turned because it seemed like they weren't going to fall out.
Yeah, they
had a brief argument.
Right, and they were just going to go their separate ways and still be friends.
Right. But it seemed like at the end, during the Defying Gravity, Galinda might have seen that Elphaba is embracing the Wicked Witch thing. Yeah. And that's why she felt like she
seemed scared of her.
She seemed afraid.
Yeah. So the ending is basically Defying Gravity, and we get this. It's a very beautiful scene. And then we get like a final shot of Elphaba in her like long Voldemort robe that has now been stretched to like 100 feet.
She's got her third act of MCU. She's got her super suit.
Listen, it looked great though. Yeah. Great final shot. And we get a final shot of Madame Morrible, the guards, and Galinda kind of standing on the tower that they were all at, kind of giving at each other, look like, okay, it's on now. And then Elphaba takes off like the speed of sound, like Superman, Captain Marvel,
that's another
Icarus.
Dislike.
And then that's the end, and it's kind of setting up the stage that they're about to go their separate ways, and it's about to be a showdown because now the animal kingdom is being threatened, and Elphaba wants to go save Oz and let everybody else know that Oz is a sham.
That was one of my notes is Elphaba flies off into the horizon like Superman. Please stop doing this. It's overused.
Yeah.
We've seen it too many times within the past decade.
She literally flies off with a sonic boom.
Also, stop flying so low to the ground at that speed. You're destroying the ecosystem.
Yeah, she ain't got no scratches or hat. Like you said, her hat be staying on.
There's a reason jets don't fly that low to the ground. Is because they would literally slice through the forest. The wind itself. In the Captain America trailer, when he hit the ground and blew everybody, including Paddington Bear, when he blew everybody away.
Shout out to the dude who puts Paddington in like everything. Hilarious.
That's funny.
It is funny.
But yeah, no, that's not how that works. You can't fly that close to the ground.
Like the Sonic Superman boom.
And not kill somebody. Now that we know people are in Oz, right? There's a risk.
Take out no mountain or something going that fast. Girl, slow down. Why you got to leave so quickly?
But it made for a good shot.
It did. It was an excellent shot. Excellent ending. Perfect setup.
As far as cliffhanger, I don't really feel that.
Yeah.
Mostly because most prequels, quote unquote, are unnecessary. So the way this ended, I would have, if there was no part 2, my mind would have filled in the gaps of, okay, I can see how they go from here to the Wizard of Oz.
Okay, agree. That's what I said. If you haven't seen part 2, you can kind of get to how she was Wicked Witch of the West. But I'm sure in part 2 is gonna fill in a whole bunch of gaps.
Right, but it didn't feel cliffhangery to me. If they hadn't put the part 1 and the to be continued at the end, it'd feel like a standalone movie.
Okay, I agree. I agree. And let's do our favorite line or scene.
My favorite scene would probably be the dance sequence. I didn't expect it to be so good and emotional.
With Jonathan Bailey?
No, when Elphaba wears the hat to the party.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And and finds out that she doesn't find out that Galinda gave it to her as a joke.
I feel like she kind of figured it out.
Yeah, but she plays into it because she won't be made a fool of.
Right.
So I liked that scene. I liked the turn for Galinda.
Yeah.
I liked them dancing together.
That was
and
very
I think
good.
that Cynthia Erivo did a good job doing the emotion.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes. I'm assuming that's the part where everybody said they was crying because people were like, I was crying so much, and I was like, I guess this is it.
I mean, Elphaba cried a lot in the movie, so
but it was
powerful. In Defying Gravity, I guess people could have cried about that. But
okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. That I could see those two scenes being cry worthy.
Those are mine.
We didn't cry.
Yeah,
my favorite outside of that one, I'll do a different one. The Popular song. That was fun.
Popular was fun
because Ariana Grande was like scooting her booty on the ground around Elphaba.
That's what I was like. Is this Gumball? Why is she in a cartoon?
It was entertaining to watch because she was acting so goofy and insane, and Elphaba's just like, girl, sit down.
She was bouncing off the walls like Powerpuff Girl,
literally.
And
because everything is also pink.
I'll add a dual favorite scene for both of us.
Okay,
Galinda not being able to change Elphaba's throat. And when she broke down into the hum and you called her the spiritual hum.
She has like a fake wand that Madame Morrible gave to her, and she's trying to use it to change Elphaba's outfit, and she does this like Baptist church hum to get
change.
It was hilarious. That was probably my favorite scene because I was cracking up during that whole song.
It was good.
Yeah.
Did you have any random notes you want to throw in?
Let me see. I had one question that hopefully maybe somebody can answer.
Okay.
When it starts to rain in the movie, Madame Morrible opens up an umbrella and says to Elphaba, like, oh, we can't get you wet, not before your big debut. And I was kind of like, now how you know she can't get wet?
Yeah, is that a witch lore thing? Is that like witch lore in Oz, that witches can't get wet?
But she wasn't a witch at that point. She was just Elphaba.
I mean, I guess she kind of had, I guess if you have magical powers, you're a witch.
You could be assumed to be like sorcerer. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe then. Because I was kind of like, no. But Elphaba didn't even look at her weird to be like, no, why you say that?
I don't know, but she also stood under the umbrella too.
Right.
So I thought maybe Madame Morrible, I thought what was going to happen was Morrible put Elphaba under the umbrella, but she didn't stand under it. And that would reveal, oh, you're not a witch because you didn't melt. But they both stood under it.
Okay.
So I don't know. It's still up in the air for me whether Morrible actually has magic.
Okay.
Because we know Galinda so far does not.
Right. And now we questioning how she becomes Glinda the good witch if she ain't
not knowing much about the second part, I enjoy the mystery. I enjoy waiting to see whether Galinda is actual witch, because when she floats in the bubble, she hits a lever on the floor. She doesn't actually cast the magic bubble. Yeah. And she pops it with the wand. She doesn't actually cast it. So
like, I'm okay that I spoiled this end of the second, because what I didn't want is to do, I don't know. I had a certain feeling about the ending, and I needed to confirm it because I was like, I'm not waiting a year to find out. And I don't want to spoil it, so I'm not going to say what it is.
Yeah.
But I am interested about the meat in the middle.
I like the mystery of finding out whether or not these people actually have magic or not. That's fun for me.
Like, Elphaba being green seems to kind of be a mystery. What's going to go on with Furio or all that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so there's a lot left in the second part that I'm very interested in. But that was all my random note.
My last random note is two. The OG cast, we get Idina Menzel in this, who is the original Elphaba from the Broadway show.
Well.
That was a nice scene. I'm glad that they stuck the original actresses in the movie and gave them musical numbers.
It was a fun musical number as well.
And Idina Menzel can sing. And they both sounded great.
Right.
Yeah. The second movie that we've seen in a row with The Field of Pampas Grass.
You talking about Gladiator?
Yeah.
Okay.
Gladiator had a scene of him wading through Pampas Grass,
Pampas Grass is a very cool decorating.
The far plane, or whatever they call that in Gladiator.
I don't know what that was.
And the Pampas Grass on the train here in the Wicked.
Oh, yeah. Pampas Grass is very chic.
Yes.
Chic in your home and in movies.
It's in style. That is all of my random notes. I'm ready to dive into this rating.
All right. So how many Nicole Kidmans are you giving Wicked?
I am going to give it 4.5. I'll only give a minus 0.5 because of some of the songs.
Yeah. Okay.
But everything else in this movie I think was phenomenal.
I'm going to say the exact same. 4.5. And my half off would be because some of the songs I could not understand what was being said. Yeah. And then, I'll do 0.5 because some of the songs I couldn't understand. And then another 0.5 because it did feel a little long to me. I felt it just a touch. But the reason of why they split it makes sense outside of Universal wanting 2 checks. I understand why they split it. But other than that, really good movie. Even if you are just curious about it and you don't detest musicals, I would recommend it.
Yeah. I mean, it's long and it feels long, but non-musical movies feel long. So, I mean, I guess that's not a big negative.
Right. That's why I said point. I only deducting point a quarter.
It feels long. It feels slightly longer than it actually is for me personally because it is a musical. But there are other.
You called it. You said it.
But Joker, also long. And I had much worse emotions leaving that one. So, hey, this is a testament this is a testament that not all musicals can be terrible because they're the Jokers of the world. And then you have the Wickeds.
Exactly. You got it done right and you got it done wrong.
You do. Okay, so that is our movie review of the week. What are we watching next week?
We are doing a throwback episode. Since it's going to be Christmas season, we're going to do the Santa Claus.
We're doing the Santa Claus.
The one with Tim Allen.
Yes, original OG recipe, the Santa Claus.
Right, and we're not doing no sequels, none of that. I ain't seen none of that.
Not even good.
Don't exist in my mind. The Santa Claus is what we're going to be watching. Hopefully it still holds up. I'm assuming it will.
It should.
I'm trying to think if there was anything controversial.
There was no. Santa Claus was. I mean, there was divorce. It's not controversial anymore.
That's Mrs. Doubtfire.
Par for the course.
We're fine.
Mrs. Doubtfire is more inappropriate than the Santa Claus.
Right? Yeah. His character was actually pretty bad.
Yes,
but I love that movie.
I mean, it's manipulation, but it's fun.
That's bad. So. Can't be dressing up as no woman, faking lying.
Yeah.
Anywho, still a classic.
Robin Williams is a legend.
National treasure.
Excellent movie.
What?
Run by fruiting. Yeah. When she threw the fruit at Pierce Brosnan's head at the pool.
Yeah.
She said, "You just missed him. It was a run by fruiting."
Robin Williams got so many good movies. So good. Also, watch The Birdcage.
I miss Robin
Williams.
Just
gonna throw that in there. Watch Mrs. Doubtfire and The Birdcage if you've not seen it. But our next episode
is about Tim Allen.
About not him at all. It will be about Tim Allen with the Santa Claus.
Yes. So
if you haven't seen it, now is your time to watch it.
If you haven't seen it, absolutely now is your time to watch it. If you have seen it,
should be fun.
Tell us if you like it or not.
Right.
It should be a fun rewatch and review.
Hopefully.
So that is our episode for this week. Thanks for listening. If you like our show, please share it. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or on our website at vaguelynerdypodcast.com. We can also leave us a voice message, which we will play on the show and reply.
If it's nice.
If it's nice. If it's not nice, Cheryl's going to say something mean back to you.
I'm doing a rebuttal.
So you can follow us if you're on social media on Threads and IG at Vaguely Nerdy Podcast, Blue Sky and the Bird app at Vaguely Nerdy Pod. And you can reach us, the Butterfly app and the Bird app. And you can reach us at vaguelynerdypodcast@gmail.com for email. If you're listening to us on a podcast app and you want to see our animated YouTube version of our podcast, you can watch it on our YouTube channel, which is the Vaguely Nerdy Podcast.
Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.